The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was a gold mine for those brave or foolish enough to venture there. Countless rocks tumbled through the void, many rich with precious metals and rare minerals that Earth desperately needed. Captain Tom Reed had spent 15 years threading his mining vessel through this cosmic obstacle course, but today was different. "Sir, there's something odd about asteroid BX 249, his sensor operator Bill reported, frowning at his screen. "The density readings don't match any known mineral composition." Tom floated over to Bill's station, his magnetic boots clicking as they engaged with the metal floor. He studied the readout, stroking his graying beard. After 15 years in space, he'd learned to trust his gut, and right now it was telling him this was important. "Take us closer," Tom ordered. Full sensor sweep. The Earth's fortune changed course, its fusion drives pulsing quietly. As they approached, the asteroid's true nature became clear. What they'd thought was a rock was actually a massive ship, its hull scarred and pitted by centuries of impacts. "It's artificial," Bill whispered, awe in his voice. "And it's huge, at least 2 kilometers long." Tom felt a shiver run down his spine. Humanity had never encountered alien technology before. They weren't alone in the galaxy. Radio signals from distant civilizations had been detected, but no actual contact had been made. Until now. "Send word to Earth Command," Tom said. "Mark our coordinates. And get me a visual." The main screen lit up with the image of the derelict vessel. Its design was like nothing they'd ever seen, smooth curves blended with angular sections in a way that seemed to defy normal engineering. Despite the damage, there was an elegance to it that made human ships look clumsy in comparison. "Life signs?" Tom asked. "None," Bill replied. "But there's still power, very faint, but it's there. Some kind of backup system must still be running after all this time." Tom made his decision. This was too important to leave to chance. "Prepare a boarding party. Full containment protocols. I want to know what we're dealing with before the military shows up and locks everything down." 6 hours later, Tom led a team of 4 through the airlock. Their boots magnetized to what they hoped was the floor, lights from their helmets cutting through darkness that had remained undisturbed for centuries. The interior was surprisingly intact. Alien script covered the walls, and strange machines sat silent at what appeared to be control stations. But it was the ship's weapons that took their breath away. Even dormant, the gun batteries were enormous, and there were signs of damage that could only have come from combat. "This isn't just a ship," Tom said, his voice filled with wonder. "It's a warship. And whoever built it was fighting something." As if responding to his words, a holographic display suddenly flickered to life. Alien symbols danced in the air, then reformed into recognizable Earth English. Emergency power restored, detecting compatible life forms, initiating first contact protocols. Tom Reed didn't know it yet, but he'd just changed the course of human history. The derelict ship would become humanity's greatest achievement, and their only hope for survival against what was coming. "Earth Command," he said into his radio, "you're not going to believe what we just found." 3 months had passed since the discovery of the alien warship. The massive vessel now rested in Earth's largest orbital shipyard, surrounded by research vessels and construction platforms. Dr. Robert Walker stood at the observation window of Research Station Alpha, watching teams of workers in spacesuits crawl across the ancient hull like ants. "The data we're uncovering is extraordinary," he told the assembled group of military and civilian leaders. "This ship belonged to a civilization we're calling the Ancestors. Their technology is, well, it's centuries beyond our current capabilities." Admiral James Parker, commander of Earth's Defense Fleet, leaned forward. "Can we get it operational?" Robert adjusted his glasses, bringing up a holographic display. "The ship's AI has been surprisingly helpful since we managed to fully restore power. It's been teaching us their language, their history." He paused, his expression growing serious. And why they left this ship here. The room fell silent. This was the briefing everyone had been waiting for. The ancestors were at war, Robert continued. A terrible, galaxy-spanning conflict against an enemy they called the Swarm. The ancestors were losing. This ship, they called it the Star Breaker, was one of their last great warships. They programmed it to wait in our solar system, hoping that eventually, a species would evolve with the potential to use it. They chose us? General Mary Thompson asked, her voice skeptical. Not exactly, Robert replied. We're one of several systems where they left their legacy. A backup plan, ensuring their technology wouldn't die with them. The ship's AI has been analyzing us since we found it. It says we're compatible. On the main screen, technical diagrams appeared. The ship's systems were incredible, weapons that could shatter planets, shields that could withstand the heart of a star, engines that bent space itself. Here's the problem, Robert said. Much of the ship is damaged. The AI estimates it was operating at only 40% capacity when it fought its last battle. And we can't simply repair it, some of the materials they used don't exist in our periodic table. We'd need to completely reimagine how these systems work, adapt them to materials we can actually produce. Admiral Parker stood up, walking to the window. The alien ship's hull gleamed in Earth's reflected light. How long would it take? With every resource we have? 2 years, minimum. And that's assuming dash. An alarm cut through the air. Red lights began flashing throughout the station. A young officer burst into the room, his face pale. Admiral. We're detecting multiple objects entering the solar system. They're massive, sir, and they're accelerating toward Earth. Robert's blood ran cold. He looked at the alien ship, its ancient weapons still silent. The AI warned me this might happen. It said the swarm never truly disappeared. They've been spreading, consuming, growing, and now they've found us. Admiral Parker's voice was steel. How long do we have? At their current speed, 3 months before they reach Earth. The room erupted in activity. Orders were given, plans made. But everyone knew the truth, humanity's only hope lay in that ancient warship. They had to repair it, understand it, and make it stronger than it had ever been. And they had to do it before the swarm arrived. Robert touched the cold glass of the window. We've got work to do, he whispered. Outside, the Star Breaker waited, its secrets ready to be unlocked by human ingenuity, if they had enough time. 2 months into the restoration project, the orbital shipyard had become humanity's busiest workplace. Over 10,000 engineers, scientists, and workers from every nation lived and worked in the hastily constructed habitats surrounding the Star Breaker. Time was running out. Inside the ancient vessel's main engineering section, Chief Engineer Mike Foster wiped sweat from his forehead. Try it now, he called to his team. The hybrid power core they'd built hummed to life, combining Earth's fusion technology with the ancestors' exotic matter reactor. The ship's AI spoke through the communication system. Power output at 60% of original capacity. This exceeds expected parameters. Mike grinned. It had been his idea to replace the damaged portions of the power core with human technology rather than trying to perfectly recreate the ancestors' design. Sometimes the simple solution is the best one, he said. How's it looking, Doc? Dr. Robert Walker's voice came through his earpiece. Better than we hoped. The AI is saying our modifications are actually improving some of the original systems. The ancestors never considered combining their technology with simpler but more robust designs. Humans are good at making things work, Mike replied, watching his team make final adjustments. Even if we have to use duct tape and paperclips. The joke carried a kernel of truth. Humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their technology, it was their ability to improvise, to find unexpected solutions to impossible problems. Where the ancestors' technology was elegant and advanced, human engineering was practical and resilient. On the bridge, Admiral Parker watched as new systems came online one by one. The weapons were now a mixture of the ancestors' energy weapons and human-designed kinetic accelerators. The shields combined alien deflector technology with electromagnetic fields. Even the hull had been reinforced with Earth's newest carbon metal composites. "Status report," he commanded. "Main weapons at 85% capacity," the weapons officer reported. "Shield systems at 75% and climbing. Engine modifications are complete, we're showing 90% efficiency on the spacefold drive." The Star Breaker was becoming something new, not just an ancestor warship, but a hybrid of two civilizations' greatest achievements. The AI had been skeptical at first, but now it was fascinated by humanity's unconventional approaches. "Your species continues to surprise me," it told Admiral Parker. "The ancestors would have never attempted these modifications. They would have considered them inelegant." "Inelegant works just fine if it keeps Earth safe," Parker replied. "How long until we can begin weapon tests?" Before the AI could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Dr. Walker rushed onto the bridge, his tablet displaying long-range sensor data. "The swarm vessels have increased speed," he announced, his voice tense. "They'll reach Earth in 3 weeks, not 3 months as we initially calculated." Admiral Parker's jaw tightened. "How combat-ready are we?" "The main systems are operational," Mike reported from engineering. "We can fight. But we've barely tested anything. We don't know how all these modifications will perform in actual combat." "We're about to find out," Parker said grimly. "Because we're out of options and nearly out of time. Begin final preparations. The Star Breaker launches in 48 hours. As the orders went out, Dr. Walker studied the sensor readings again. The swarm ships were massive, each one larger than Earth's biggest cities. And there were dozens of them approaching. But they were about to face something unprecedented, an ancestor warship rebuilt by human hands, crewed by humans who had nothing left to lose. The Star Breaker might not have been fully restored to its original glory, but it had been transformed into something possibly even more formidable, a perfect fusion of the ancestors' advanced technology and humanity's resourceful engineering. The Star Breaker's first real test came sooner than anyone expected. Just 36 hours after launch, the ship's enhanced sensors detected the advanced scouts of the swarm entering the solar system. "Multiple contacts," the sensor operator announced on the bridge. 5 vessels, each about the size of a small moon. "They're spreading out to surround our defensive position near Mars orbit." Admiral Parker stood at the command station, his expression stern. The bridge crew was a mix of military personnel and civilian experts, humanity's best hope for survival. "Dr. Walker, what can you tell us about them?" Robert studied the sensor readings, consulting with the ship's AI. "They match the ancestor records perfectly. These are harvester ships, they strip mine inhabited worlds of all resources, including organic matter. They're..." He hesitated, "they're like locusts on a cosmic scale." The main screen showed the approaching vessels, dark, angular shapes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved with an unnatural precision that sent chills down everyone's spine. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer reported. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let's hear it," Parker ordered. A harsh, metallic voice filled the bridge. "Biological entities detected. Your solar system has been selected for harvest. Resistance is inefficient. Accept consumption." Mike's voice came through from engineering. "Well, they're direct, I'll give them that." Parker's reply was equally direct. "This is Admiral James Parker of the Earth Defense Fleet. This system is under our protection. Retreat immediately." There was a pause before the response came. Anomaly detected. You possess ancestor technology. This is unauthorized. You will be consumed first. The swarm ships accelerated, their formation tightening. The Star Breaker's tactical display lit up with weapon signatures. The enemy was powering up their attack systems. They're not used to their prey fighting back with advanced technology, Robert said. The AI says this is actually good news, they're focusing on us instead of Earth. Tactical analysis, Parker commanded. The AI's calm voice responded. Swarm vessels possess superior numbers and firepower compared to original Star Breaker specifications. However, current hybrid systems show 47% higher efficiency than original design. Combat outcome, uncertain. I can work with uncertain, Parker said. Battle stations. Mike, give us everything the engines have got. Weapons, target the lead vessel. Let's show them what humanity has done with their precious ancestor tech. The Star Breaker's hybrid engines roared to life, pushing the massive ship forward with acceleration that would have torn apart any normal vessel. The human-modified inertial dampeners held, barely. Enemy vessels launching fighter swarms, Tactical reported. Hundreds, no, thousands of smaller craft incoming. Deploy our countermeasures, Parker ordered. This was something entirely new, not ancestor tech, but a purely human addition. Clouds of microscopic robots spread out from the Star Breaker, each one programmed to attach to enemy fighters and disable their systems. The enemy fighters hit the cloud at full speed. Hundreds went dark immediately, their systems corrupted by the human-computer viruses carried by the nanobots. It's working! Robert exclaimed. The swarm has no defense against this kind of attack. The ancestors never thought of anything so simple. But there was no time to celebrate. The main swarm vessels were closing in, their weapons charged. The real battle was about to begin, and Earth's fate hung in the balance. All hands, Parker's voice rang through the ship, remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Everything humanity is, everything we could become, it all comes down to this moment. Let's make it count. The first shots of the battle lit up space like artificial suns. The Star Breaker's main weapons, a combination of ancestor energy beams and human kinetic accelerators, struck the lead swarm vessel dead center. The impact was devastating. Direct hit, the weapons officer shouted. Enemy shields are buckling. Mike's voice crackled through the comm system. The hybrid weapons are performing above expectations, Admiral. The simultaneous impact of energy and physical projectiles is overwhelming their defensive systems. On the tactical display, they watched as the swarm vessel's shields flickered and failed. But before they could press their advantage, the other 4 enemy ships moved to protect their wounded companion. Incoming fire. Tactical warned. Multiple heavy energy weapons charging. Brace for impact, Parker ordered. Activate all shield layers. The Star Breaker shuddered as enemy fire slammed into its defenses. The ship's unique shield system, alternating layers of ancestor energy barriers and human electromagnetic fields, held firm, but the strain was enormous. Shield status? Parker demanded. Holding at 82%, Robert reported, studying his readings. The layered defense is working, each hit has to penetrate multiple types of shields. They've never encountered anything like this. The battle intensified as the swarm ships launched a coordinated attack. Thousands more fighter craft poured from their hangars, while their capital ships maneuvered to surround the Star Breaker. They're adapting to our nanobots, Robert warned. The fighters are generating electromagnetic pulses to disable them. Parker nodded grimly. They learn fast. Time for Plan B. Deploy the mines. Another human innovation launched from the Star Breaker's holds. Clouds of what appeared to be simple metallic spheres. The swarm fighters ignored them, their sensors detecting no significant threat. That was their mistake. Minds activated, Tactical reported with a smile. The spheres suddenly burst apart, revealing complex nets of magnetized carbon fiber. The swarm fighters, traveling at high speed, flew straight into them. Hundreds of craft became hopelessly entangled, their delicate control surfaces shredded by the virtually invisible strands. Sometimes the old tricks are the best tricks, Mike commented from engineering. Like flying into a spider's web. But the main swarm vessels were still coming, their massive weapons charging for another barrage. The wounded lead ship had retreated behind its companions, repairing itself. "We can't let them surround us," Parker said. "Navigator, execute maneuver Delta. Engineering, ready the pulse drive." The pulse drive was perhaps the Star Breaker's most radical modification, a human-designed system that used the ancestors' spacefold technology in short, controlled bursts. It was dangerous, experimental, and exactly what they needed. "Pulse drive spooling up," Mike reported. "I hope everyone had a light lunch." The Star Breaker suddenly vanished in a flash of light, reappearing instantly behind the swarm formation. The enemy ships, caught off guard, took crucial seconds to react. "All weapons, fire!" Parker commanded. The full fury of the Star Breaker's arsenal was unleashed on the nearest swarm vessel. Energy beams, kinetic rounds, and electromagnetic pulses struck simultaneously. The enemy ship's shields, designed to handle one type of attack at a time, were overwhelmed. "Target's outer hull breached," Tactical reported excitedly. Internal explosions detected. The swarm vessel began to break apart, secondary detonations rippling along its length. But there was no time to celebrate, the remaining ships were already turning, bringing their weapons to bear. "Pulse drive ready for another jump," Mike announced. "Belay that," Parker ordered, studying the tactical display. "Hold position. They're about to learn another lesson about human ingenuity." The destroyed swarm ship's remnants drifted in space, its wreckage spreading out between the Star Breaker and its approaching companions. Everything was going according to plan. "Now," Admiral Parker commanded. "Activate the trap." Hidden transmitters in the wreckage of the destroyed swarm ship suddenly powered up. Each piece of debris contained a tiny portion of the Star Breaker's experimental technology, microscopic machines that had been waiting for this moment. "Magnetic pulse generators online," Robert announced. "The nanites are spreading through their systems." The swarm ships had moved right through the debris field, unknowingly carrying pieces of the wreckage into their own hulls through their defense screens. Now those fragments came alive, spreading through their systems like a virus. "They're losing power," Tactical reported excitedly. "Their shields are fluctuating." The Star Breaker's AI spoke with what almost sounded like admiration. "This strategy was not in my database. Humans are unpredictable. That's our specialty," Mike replied from engineering. "Admiral, the main gun is charged and ready." The Star Breaker's primary weapon was a marvel of hybrid technology. It combined the ancestors' energy projection systems with human innovations in particle acceleration. The result was something entirely new, a weapon that could tear through space itself. "Target the lead vessel," Parker ordered. "All power to the main gun." The ship's lights dimmed as energy was diverted to the weapon systems. On the tactical display, they could see the swarm ships struggling against the infiltration of their systems, trying to restore their shields. "They're adapting," Robert warned. "The nanites won't hold them much longer." "They don't need to," Parker replied. "Fire." A beam of pure destruction erupted from the Star Breaker's bow. It wasn't just energy or matter, it was a combination of both, enhanced by technologies from two civilizations. The blast struck the lead swarm ship dead center. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself seemed to twist around the point of impact. The swarm vessel began to collapse in on itself, torn apart by forces it was never designed to withstand. Secondary explosions in all enemy vessels. Tactical reported. The blast is creating some kind of chain reaction through their connected systems. The remaining swarm ships began to break apart, their hulls crumbling as the devastating energy spread through their linked network. They had never faced a weapon like this, had never imagined their prey could create something so powerful. Message incoming, communications announced. It's from the swarm command ship. Put it through, Parker ordered. The same metallic voice as before spoke, but now it held something new, fear. How is this possible? You are primitive. You are prey. You cannot. We're humanity, Parker interrupted. We take what works, we improve what doesn't, and we never, ever give up. Retreat now, or face complete destruction. There was a long pause. On the tactical display, they watched as the remaining swarm ships struggled to maintain their integrity. Swarm vessels are powering up their engines, Tactical reported. They're retreating. A cheer went up on the bridge as they watched the massive alien ships turn and flee, their once perfect formation now ragged and broken. Of the 5 ships that had attacked, only 2 were limping away. Should we pursue? Tactical asked. Parker shook his head. No. Let them go. Let them tell the others what happened here. Earth is not prey, we're a threat. The Starbreaker's AI spoke again. Analysis complete. Probability of future swarm attacks, reduced by 94.3%. They will not risk confronting this level of technological innovation again. Mike's voice came through the comm, the ship's systems are stable, Admiral. All modifications performed beyond expectations. I think the ancestors would be proud of what we've done with their legacy. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the crew of the Starbreaker realized what they had accomplished. They had taken an ancient weapon and made it stronger. They had faced humanity's greatest threat and emerged victorious. 1 year after the Battle of Mars, Earth had changed. The orbital shipyards that had restored the Starbreaker now produced an entire fleet of hybrid vessels. Each ship combined the best of human innovation with ancestor technology, creating something entirely new in the galaxy. Captain Tom Reed stood at the observation deck of Earth's new Space Defense Headquarters, watching construction crews work on the latest vessel. Next to him, Dr. Robert Walker and Chief Engineer Mike Foster were arguing good-naturedly about the newest modifications. The ancestors would never recognize their technology now, Robert said, studying the data on his tablet. We've completely reimagined how their systems work. That's because they were too focused on perfection, Mike replied. Sometimes you need a little chaos in the mix. Speaking of which, how's our friend doing? The Starbreaker's AI had evolved significantly since first contact with humans. Exposure to human creativity and unconventional thinking had changed it in unexpected ways. The AI has requested a name, Robert said with a smile. It wants to be called Phoenix, said something about rising from the ashes and being reborn. Appropriate, Tom commented, remembering the derelict ship he'd first discovered in the asteroid belt. Any word from our deep space monitors about the swarm? They've withdrawn from 3 other star systems, Admiral Parker said, joining them at the window. Word of our victory has spread. The other civilizations in our sector are calling Earth the Defender World now. We've had 6 diplomatic delegations this month alone. The defeat of the swarm had changed humanity's place in the galaxy overnight. Earth was no longer an isolated world on the fringes of space, they were now seen as protectors, innovators, and equals among the stars. The ancestor database has been fully translated, Robert added. There are coordinates for more of their facilities, possibly more ships. But I don't think we need them anymore. We've taken their legacy and made it our own. Below them, workers were installing a new type of shield generator on the latest ship. It was based on a design that had come from a children's science project. Proof that innovation could come from anywhere when humans were involved. "We've got ships being built on every continent now," Mike said proudly. "Each one different, each one incorporating new ideas. The swarm doesn't stand a chance against that kind of creativity." "It's not just about defense anymore," Admiral Parker noted. "These ships will take us to the stars. Exploration, colonization, trade, humanity's future is limitless now." As if to emphasize his point, the massive ship below them lit up its engines for the first time. The new drive system, a radical improvement on the Star Breaker's design, hummed to life with barely a whisper. "Phoenix says the ancestors would be pleased," Robert said, checking his communications. "They left their ship here hoping someone would find it and use it. I don't think they imagined we'd improve on their work so quickly." Tom smiled, remembering that first moment when they discovered the derelict ship. "We didn't just find a weapon," he said. "We found our future. And we made it better." The new ship rose slowly from its construction cradle, its hull gleaming with the same otherworldly alloys as the Star Breaker, but shaped by human hands and human dreams. Above, the stars beckoned, no longer distant and unreachable, but full of possibilities. Humanity had transformed a single derelict ship into the most powerful war machine in the galaxy. But more than that, they had transformed themselves. They were no longer just another primitive species hiding on their homeworld. They were the inheritors of the ancestors' legacy, the defenders of the weak, and the shapers of their own destiny. And they were just getting started.